what happened, right? After facing a lot of issues, a lot of objections, a lot of situation handling, finally, the World Cup is here. India and Pakistan jointly going to host 87 World Cup. But what about money? We need 30 crores to finance this World Cup and we don't have a single rupee. And one more thing actually. Our Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, was assassinated in 84. What next then? I'm Aman Verma and today we are continuing that 87 World Cup tour. And trust me, it's only going to get more fascinating from here. So just keep listening to Yak Battles. So Rajiv Gandhi and Ambani didn't have a good relationship as much as Indira Gandhi had. To secure political support, he appointed VP Singh as a finance minister. As soon as VP Singh took charge, he instructed the income tax department to target Ambani. This led to a fierce battle between the two parties, and as a result, the conclusion is there's no chance for the Ambanis to sponsor the World Cup. So the hunt for a new sponsor began. Now I know it might get a little tricky, right? When we talk about the World Cup financial structure. So here's the situation. The BCCI had the responsibility of hosting the World Cup in India. However, they had to provide a significant amount of guarantee money as well for the participating country. Additionally, they had to cover the expenses for accommodations, travel, and security, which amount to be staggering just 30 crore rupees. That's it, only. India and Pakistan were supposed to split the bill, with India paying two-thirds of the cost, which equal around 20 crore rupees. And then the BCCI faced the challenge of acquiring such a large sum of money as they did not have a substantial financial resources at that point of time. They planned to obtain a part of the funds through direct sponsorship and the remaining amount from royalty received from broadcasting matches. The TV channels would generate revenue from advertisements and sponsorship, but the BCCI would only receive their shares after the World Cup concluded. And there's one more thing. We have to pay the whole guarantee money of 4 crores and the time duration that we have is till December 84. And all the money has to be paid in the pounds, specifically in 1.8 million pounds. Now let's discuss the search for sponsors that we have to. India was restricted market back then, meaning they were limited foreign reserves, and consequently the government was hesitant to provide the necessary funds. Well, the BCCI needs a foreign investor who could pay in pounds. However, any sponsor who contributed money expected to see a return on their investments, right? In a developing country like India, with a limited access to a foreign markets, the chances of sponsors recouping their investments were minimal. Then the dice is the BCCI had to convince people to contribute money without any hope of getting it back. They approached various companies, including Coca Cola, Rothmans, Grinsley Bank, Kodak, Gillette, and Mitsubishi, as well as Indian businesses like Hinduja Group, in their desperate search for support. However, all combined these entities were only willing to provide a meager amount of 38 lakhs, far from required 4 crores. Now let's discuss the involvement of Rajiv Gandhi then, the Prime Minister, and the Foreign Exchange Reserve. With the deadline approaching, BCCI President Salve met with Rajiv Gandhi. Okay, a quick break, so bear with us and don't go anywhere. And then Mr. Salve demanded 1.8 million pounds. It meant utilizing the foreign reserve, a last resort during times of financial crisis and war. Within 6 months of assuming the role of Prime Minister, Rajiv faced a difficult action. He had to choose between taking a risk and paying the money or risking India humiliation on the global stage. As cricket was source of pride for Indians. Eventually, after winning that 83 World Cup, Rajiv decided to take a chance and pay off the debt. Although it was a gamble, but it was one that paid off handsomely. And one more problem seeded. BCCI is in tough spot now, hoping to secure a sponsor, but facing a new problem with Doordarshan, refusing to pay royalty. This royalty amount to whooping 6 crore rupees, which is significant amount of money that BCCI desperately needed. However, it's not entirely Doordarshan's fault as BCCI promised ICC an upgrade to their broadcasting infrastructure, which would cost around 30 crores. Doordarshan would have to foot the bill for this, and they couldn't pay the additional 6 crore to BCCI. This puts BCCI at risk of not being able to broadcast World Cup matches to their own country and still needing 20 crores with nowhere to get it from. Keep it secret until it's permanent. And that's what we did actually. Jokingly enough, even though we were strapped for cash, we couldn't risk England finding out and trying to stop us from hosting. So we took matters into our own hands and used what little funds we had to get things started. We brought in experts from BBC and MCC who knew how to conduct a World Cup. And we got the ball rolling. We had big plans, but nothing was set in motion yet. It was all just talk and no action. However, things started to heat up. When the Congress government got involved, VP Singh was out and Dhirubhai Ambani was in. The relationship between Rajiv Gandhi and VP Singh has soured. and it finally reached its breaking point when VP Singh was transferred to the Defense Ministry. And that's when Salve made a quick call to Dhirubhai Ambani and asked if he was interested, and he said yes. Rajiv Gandhi agreed, and the deal was sealed. Reliance sponsorship and the goals were set in motions. Ambani first paid off 4 crores to the Indian government, followed by 1.5 crores for the title sponsorship. Anil Ambani was named as the organizer for the Reliance side. In his first ever interview as a sponsor, when asked about what the plan for the World Cup, Mr. Ambani, he seemed clueless. What? He replied. World Cup? I don't know what that is. That shocked interviewer questioned him further, reminding him that he was sponsoring the event. Anil Ambani responded, Oh, that? That's not the World Cup. That's the Reliance Cup. Call it that and nothing else. And now that was Reliance's plan. So their main goal was not to increase sales, by the way, like most sponsors do, but rather to achieve brand recognition. Through this World Cup, people in India and around the world would come to know about the Reliance crew. So anything that could be renamed was renamed. Even the organizing committee's name was changed from India Pakistan Joint Organizing Committee to Reliance Cup Organization Committee. And after taking care of one aspect of the equation, Salve once again approached Rajiv Gandhi to address the other issue regarding Doordarshan. With his help, the issue with Doordarshan was resolved through a new compromise. Under this agreement, Doordarshan would cover all the production costs but would not have to pay any royalty to BCCI. In return, they would share their advertising revenue with the BCCI. On the other hand, the BCCI would gain control over all in-ground advertisements. Reliance saw an opportunity over there and entered the scene, expanding their advertising efforts. As soon as this compromise was reached, Ambani's company bought the rights to all in-ground advertisements in India's stadiums from a staggering 2.6 crores. Additionally, there were discussions about Reliance funding infrastructure improvement to increase advertising space within the stadium. As part of the deal, the BCCI would receive a portion of the revenue generated from these extra spaces. But that's not all. Reliance outbid everyone to become the official supplier for the Reliance Cup. They also made deals with companies like Fuji, Canon, Bata, VIP, and making them suppliers for the tournament as well. Reliance even became the official fabric supplier for the event. Even a lot of companies came furiously and complained to Salve that this is an unfair monopoly held by Reliance. But Salve simply responded by asking where they were when money was needed. With the increasing revenue from these ventures, the future looked promising. But still, it wasn't enough, right? Specifically, BCCI needed money to cover player accommodation and was on the hunt for the cheaper options. But surprisingly, Reliance, encouraged by Salve, declared that they would cover the entire cost of accommodations of all players. Now you might wonder why Reliance would do this and how they benefit. After all, they didn't own an extensive hotel chain in India, so they would have to bear the cost. And let me give you some facts, by the way. It turned out that all the five-star hotels arranged by Reliance also had extensive networks in the home countries of the foreign teams. So it was a pre-Netflix era, and that point of a time still, Ambani funded a TV series on Doordarshan called Reliance World Cup Cricket 87 series, which showcased behind-the-scenes preparation for the World Cup, including interview with the foreign team in the hotels. Due to this worldwide publicity, whether those hotels charge money or not is up to your imaginations. Think about it. So now India had successfully overcome the last hurdle and we are fully prepared to host the World Cup. As the matches progressed and the closing ceremony was televised, Lance made an additional payment of 55 lakh rupees for it. Although we didn't emerge as the winners of the World Cup, but we had accomplished something even more significant. We had earned the right to have our voices heard, to be at the pinnacle of the hierarchy, and to be never be disregarded. India had made its grand entrance, and the entire world witnessed it from the comfort of their homes. Everyone witnessed India perform a brilliant act, achieve a remarkable feat, and seize the throne, and we will never surrender. So, this was the story of 87 World Cup, as I said, Reliance Cup. So, stick to yard battles, but as of now, I'm leaving you with the 87 World Cup song, the theme song. So, enjoy then.